Hi everyone, today we're doing a tutorial of the pathing system in Planet Zoo, as I know that quite a lot of people struggle with this once they're just getting started with the game. It's absolutely no secret that the pathing system is a bit flawed here, so with this video I really do hope to make it a little bit easier for you to be creative and pleased with your paths. Absolutely feel free to use the timestamps in the video to jump to the section you're struggling with. So we're first going to go over the very basics, so we're going to go to our paths here. You just choose whichever paths work the best for you. So I'm gonna go with the bamboo path. You see here is the length and here's the width. So you can adjust the length to, let's say, 3 meters right now. And this is the path you have the most freedom with. You can just go wherever you would like. It's pretty straightforward. You have the angle snap here so that if you put it to, say, 90 degrees, you'll always get the perfect angle you're looking for. Just a side note that when you have the 90-degree angle snap on, this is what will allow you to make perfect straight lines. This will only allow you to go straight to the side or straight ahead. So that's the first option. And then we have the squared pieces. So if you click align to grid down here and you choose whichever grid you wish, the entrance point is always a good start. So I'm gonna click that, and then you see we have these perfect squared edges and they connect very nicely. So this is a great option if you really need things to be symmetrical. And if you don't like the squared corners here, you can deselect the grid, just place a path here, right click to remove it, and then you have these nice round corners. So now we're gonna move over to stairs, and you just press U on your keyboard. If you press it once, you get this kind of small slope, but if you press it twice, then you have the staircase. But by default, this is pretty long, and sometimes you just want a tiny staircase. So to do that, we're gonna remove this. We're gonna go to our settings here, and then if you scroll all the way down, you see elevated length. So if you click that, pull it down to, say, 1 meter, and then you can just place it step by step. So just make sure it's aligned properly to the middle. We now have a very small staircase, and then you could go back to the main menu here, align to grid, click the staircase, and then you can build like a nice dock or something. So here's an example of what you can do with those simple techniques. I've just used the square edges here, added some small staircases, used the grid pieces all the way across here, and then we use the regular road pieces to just connect everything. But if you want to add some water in here, you need to adjust the terrain before you add the path pieces, because you can't adjust the terrain underneath the path. So if I wanted to finish off this entire section, just to add water down there, go to terrain, push down. You can see we get this really ugly edge where the path is. So you really want to make sure that you have already mapped out the, let's say, pool before you add the path. So let's just remove all of these paths. So when we added the paths and mapped out this area, we can see where we want it to be. So it can still be a good idea to do it that way first, and then you just push the edges out so that they won't be sticking out when you add the path. And then once we go back in, you can see it's looking a lot better. So we then add the water. Like that. I thought we would also take a look at how to make a perfect circle. So we're gonna go to paths again, make sure it's not aligned to grid. And for this particular circle, I'm gonna go with the 30 degrees angle snap, but it really depends on how big you want the circle to be. For me, I just want it to be kind of a small, medium circle. And what's important is we're not gonna align it to the existing path pieces. So we're gonna hold down Control, so that we have the ability to move the path wherever we want it to be. And I'm gonna just hold down Shift to raise it up from the ground like that. And then we just place one path piece 90 degrees of the already existing circle. And then we're just gonna add it one step in for each path piece we place down. Like that, a perfect circle. Like obviously it's not centered towards this, but I didn't really pay too much attention to that. But then we can just align it however we wish. So now that we've covered how to use the standard pieces and make a dock and a circle and the staircases, we're gonna look into tunneling real quick. Let's grab our path, get some stairs down here as well. Press J. If you press it once, you get this slope. Twice, you get the staircase. If you go into your settings here, you see tunneling is an option. Click that, press down twice on J so that we have a nice staircase. Then you can see it's making a nice tunnel for us. And then I'm gonna press U twice to get a straight piece, and then you just continue your tunnel as you wish. And if you move back to the top here, you can see where you've placed your tunnel. So that can be a good tool to use if you have a specific place you want your tunnel to end. So I'm gonna go up here. And then we can connect it to this one. So now we have a tunnel going all the way down here and up there. As you can see, this leaves some really rough edges and it's just not very appealing. So you can fix that with adjusting the terrain a bit and adding some rocks and foliage, or just create some kind of cover for it. But what's important to note is that you can't pull it, like you can't adjust it too much inwards and stuff. Like you could, I guess, create this kind of arch to cover it up. Like you really just need to be a bit creative with how to cover these edges and how to make it look nice, but it's definitely doable. You just gotta find out what works for you. So this is just one example. You could also build covers with the construction pieces, add just a ton of rocks and foliage and stuff like that. So let's say you've built yourself a habitat and it's kind of awkwardly shaped and you might want the path to go nicely around it either way. So I'm just gonna quickly show you how to do that. We have our path settings here. Make sure that you deselect the flatten to terrain tool, because if you don't, you see we're not able to move close enough to the habitat. So uncheck, and then we're gonna turn on snap alongside barriers. And then as we increase the length, you'll see that it actually snaps to the barrier, and then it just automatically gives you the most accurate placement that you're able to have for the path. It's not perfect, like you see here, it's not entirely into the edge. So when something like that happens, just try to test out deleting the path and putting it back, and there should be no issues with that. So once you know all of these simple techniques, you can really start getting creative and explore how everything works together and what kind of unique paths and stuff like that you can create. I know the pathing system can be a little bit finicky, and sometimes you just have to try different things to get everything to look how you want it to. So that's it for this video. I do hope you found it helpful in some way, and please leave a comment if there's anything in particular you would like me to do a tutorial on. I do tutorials every Tuesday and gameplay every Friday, so make sure you stick around for that, and I'll see you in my next video.